Have you ever gone along with someone else's decision to please them, only to find yourself questioning whether or not that was the right thing to do? But you're in it so deep and you're wondering, how do you get out? And especially, how do you find the courage to free yourself from an impossible situation that will likely bear a heavy cost? Hi, I'm Jacqueline and welcome. We at Joyful Living Mindset are so excited that you're here because we believe that you have a special gift within you that's going to uplift humanity in some significant way. And we're here to help you navigate that journey and help you live your truth. So I think I was probably 24 years old when I married someone that my parents approved of. And the guy was, I suppose he was decent enough, but I just didn't really have a connection with him. I just wanted to go along with the plans because I was at the right age and I wanted to please my parents and do the right thing. But all the while, and even while we were engaged to get married, I just had this nagging feeling that I was about to make a big mistake. But oftentimes when we're faced with a life-altering decision, we tend to doubt and second-guess ourselves and talk ourselves into believing that other people know better than we do. Have you ever silenced this voice inside of you begging you to stand up, speak up, rise up, because you were so unsure of yourself and you were also afraid of what it might cost you if you did? And for most people, it's because of this very fear and doubt that they end up settling and they end up going along with the plan, living with it, denying themselves of their own happiness and their freedom, and talking themselves into believing that this is what they need to do and that they also need to change because who they was not good enough. And so they need to change in order to adapt to this new life that they didn't even want to begin with. And that was really my situation, what I shared earlier when in my first marriage. And what I realized is that this nagging feeling that we have when we're in that situation, and we just have this nagging feeling like, oh my God, I think I'm about to make the biggest mistake of my life, and we're just kind of like in this conflict of wanting to stand up for our own happiness and sanity, but also not wanting to let those closest around us down as well, especially if they're your parents. And that nagging feeling that's happening is really your soul raising up red flags to help you find the courage to stand up for your sanity and your happiness. Because it knows that if you either go forward with that decision or stay in that decision, that the cost would be too much for you to bear in the long term. And in my experience, having gone through that, there's really 4 reflections and things that I learned from that. And that really helped me to find the courage to speak up and get myself out of that situation. Because we ended up being married for, I think, just a little over a year. And I finally found the courage to speak up, stand up, and rise up and take a stand for my happiness and sanity, because I reflected on 4 things that gave me clarity and courage to make that bold decision. The first is, how happy am I with how I am showing up every single day? And the truth, the ugly, ugly truth was that I was not happy with myself and how I was showing up every day. I remember going to bed almost every day, either crying or angry. And I would sometimes, often many days, I would show up to work late, or I would show up to work like I didn't even shower, and I just kind of tied my hair up in a bun, didn't even care about how I looked, and wearing disheveled clothes, and it's just, I was just a hot mess, like physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. And I definitely was not happy with how I was showing up every single day. The second was I reflected on what fundamental right would I lose if I continue to stay in that marriage and live that life. And what I realized is that even though, reflecting back, let me just make it clear that it wasn't that my ex and his family were horrible people. They were not. They just weren't the right fit for me. And when I reflected back, if I had stayed in that marriage and lived that life, I remember the one thing that I couldn't live with was that projecting that if I continue to stay in this marriage and have children, knowing how controlling and influential my ex's parents were on him and our life, that I might not even be able to name my own child and be able to raise my child or children the way that I see fit. And just the thought of that was just so unbearable that I probably couldn't even name my own children and have the right to raise them the way that I see fit as a mother. So that was a second huge aha for me that I just knew I could not live with. The third reflection was, like, what vital part of me have I lost or given up being in this marriage and living this life? And I remember back then, I lost my ability to laugh. I lost my ability to smile. I just lost my ability to feel alive. And I think that was it. I just felt so dead inside. I was so restricted, like I couldn't be me. And I just felt so dead inside. So that was a huge aha for me. And then the fourth huge realization and reflection for me was, would I ever be able to love myself again if I continued living this life? And the harsh and ugly truth to that was, no, I would not. And in fact, I was hating myself every single day for living this life, this lie, and betraying myself and not having the courage to stand up and make a stand for my happiness and my sanity, for someone else's happiness and peace of mind. And I remember during those dark, dark days that I didn't even dare to look at myself in the mirror. I knew that I would not like or bear the sight of the person staring back at me in the mirror of my own reflection. And I knew instinctively that if I continue staying in this marriage and living this life of a lie, that I would never be able to love myself again. So having reflected on those four key things, it was just so clear to me that I had to break free from this. I had to make a stand. I had to find the courage to free myself from this. If not, I would never be able to live with myself and love myself and find peace ever in this lifetime. And I remember one day taking off from work early, and I came home to my parents. And for the first time in my life, and if you have been brought up in an Asian household, you would know that how big of a deal this is, but for the first time in my life, I spoke up in front of my parents with conviction, with so much confidence and conviction and clarity. And I told them, and I said, Mom, Dad, you know that I have done everything in my life to try to make you happy, to be that dutiful daughter for you. But I am telling you that I cannot continue to be in this marriage and live this life, because I would die. Because the part of me that makes me will die in this marriage and in this life. And I cannot continue to exist living this lifeless life and feeling dead inside of me. And it was the first time ever that I was so strong and so brave and had so much conviction in what I said that my dad was actually speechless. And they both were quiet for a while. And once what I said to them sunk in, they both said, and even my dad, I'll never forget, and they both said, okay, if you are that sure that this is for your happiness, and that you would kind of like be dead inside continuing to live this life, then that's not the life that we want you to live. We just want you to be happy. And if that is what is causing you to feel and be, then you do what you need to do to feel alive again and find your sanity and your happiness again, and we will support you. And that was me finding my voice and having the courage to speak up, to find my voice, speak up, stand up, and rise up to what I believe in, to fight for my own sanity and my happiness. And thank goodness that I did, because I just know that if I had not done that, I would not have become the woman that I am today and be able to fall madly in love with who I'm becoming each and every day today. And that's all really due to me finding the courage to stand up for what I believe in for myself and fight for myself, my sanity, and my happiness. And it's all based on those 4 powerful reflections. So I hope that this helps you as you are facing a difficult situation and trying to find your voice and the courage to speak up, to break free from an impossible situation and you're afraid of what it might cost you. Really, the question is, what would it cost you even more if you didn't break free and fight for yourself, your sanity, and your happiness? So I hope this is helpful. And if you have any questions, you need any clarifications or anything, please feel free to pop it in the comments. Let me know how I can support you further. I look forward to reading them, supporting you, and cheering you on for your happiness, for your freedom, and for your sanity and peace of mind. But until next time, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.